Hi, I'm Lucette Talamas, a wellness dietitian here at Baptist Health in the Community Health Department. Today we're here in the Grow to Heal garden with garden manager T. Squire. Hi T.
Hey, Lucette.
And we're so excited to talk about how to start your own garden. For someone who's never started anything with their own garden, their own home garden, what are some considerations we should think about before starting?
Sure. Well, first of all, how much sun, space, and what season is it? So most plants need a lot of sun and the space you have. So do you only have a balcony or windowsill, or do you have a little backyard? So what's it look like for you? And also our growing season here in South Florida is from about October through April. So that's when most of our vegetables grow because the weather is more pleasant. And then don't be afraid if you don't have a garden, a large space. I like to approach it from a very simple way. I call this my lazy gardener technique, where I just buy a bag of garden soil, and then we'll show you how to build a garden from just a bag of gardens.
Yeah, so before we talk about the types of gardens we can start off with, just to quickly summarize the considerations, we need to have some sunlight, right?
Yep.
And you had mentioned something about the direction of maybe someone's balcony, right? Like you don't even have to have a plot of land, right?
Right, exactly. You just need a sunny windowsill or a balcony. Now, if your balcony faces north, you may not be able to grow as many types of things as if it was facing south or west. So,
Okay.
And you brought a basil plant here. Tell me about it.
So I did, because I wasn't sure how to start my own garden, and the plants in the grocery store look so good, especially for that fresh basil for our nutritious plates that we make at home. But I wanted it to keep going, and I wasn't sure what to do. So in my experience, I planted it at home, and then I noticed the leaves turning like brown, and I wasn't sure what was going on. It was still in the same pot though. So what is something we can do with like something that's already started,
Okay.
right? So it's taken off some of the
Yes, yes. I highly recommend buying plants that are seedlings like this because it saves you time. If you planted the seed today and you wanted to get this plant, it would probably take about 2 months to get to this size. So someone else has already done it for you, and I think that's a really good, speedy way of approaching it. So, listen, how many basil plants do you think is in here? When you bought this,
you purchase one plant, right?
yeah, right. But look, look here. I want to say there's at least 15, maybe 20 plants.
Wow. So each stem basically is its own plant.
Correct. Each stem is its own plant, and when you get it from the store, you're going to see all of the roots here. Now because there's so many plants in here, it's root bound, and they're all fighting for nutrition. So that means it's a very crowded house, and that's why if you look at it, they're really long and skinny and straggly, and it doesn't look very happy. So you want to be able to separate them gently. And you really don't want more than maybe 2 plants per pot. So one of these plants, or in this case, I've got 2 that want to hang out. Carefully untangle them. This should go into a pot about at least 6 inches in diameter, okay? Now, I have a trick here today with the bag, and I call this my lazy gardener technique, where what we do is I get a bag of garden soil, and I'm going to poke holes in it. And you want to do a lot of holes, at least 10 to 12 holes on the bottom. Why? Because we're not going to take the soil out of the bag. Then we're going to put this in the garden, the side where you've poked all the holes, and flip it over. Okay, and then we're going to, you don't even have to make a really large hole. I usually just do like an X. Dig down and put my plant in. And I might have, say, 6 of these in a row in the garden. And I know it's done slightly with the plastic bags, so you could then cover this with mulch or hay or something like that, and that would disguise the fact that you have it in a bag, and no one's the wiser. The holes in the bottom will allow for drainage, and then on the top you can add a couple of more holes so you can add water through the top. This will help maintain the moisture so you don't have to water as often. And in this size bag, if I were doing basil, I could probably put 3 basil plants about 6 or 8 inches apart, and this will be fine. If you're doing a tomato plant, which is going to get bigger, I would just do 1 tomato per bag, or broccoli, again, some of the larger vegetables, 1 per bag. But this is a great way to do something really easy. It's really quick, so if you're going to have a party and you want to make it look like you've spent a lot of time and effort gardening, just put this out there. You can put it in a row, you can arrange it in any fashion that you like, and it works. It really does work.
Wow, so this was a great tip for a lazy gardener or someone who's just beginning, and it can definitely be a little intimidating when you hear about raised beds and other types of larger, maybe more complicated or more intricate things to learn about gardening when you're getting into it, right? But this is a nice starter garden.
Yes, inexpensive, doesn't take any major skills. You don't need power tools, nothing.
Awesome. And then to summarize, the sun, the space, and the season, the considerations we need before starting a garden. So we want to make sure that maybe we would start this like in October for
Correct.
This to grow the best.
Exactly.
Thank you, T, for showing us how to start our own gardens. And we see it's definitely not intimidating. It's something we can all achieve, regardless of our space, too. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.